today.
Let's talk about today.
Grand national state level, you have to run non-sales, wholesale.
It is like 9,000.
The only mistake I made, I didn't put her in the registration booth with the
Just this ever-evolving story.
Well, welcome everybody to Let's Grow Pulling. It's a very snowy Monday here in Wisconsin. We got 7 inches or so at my house. I know south of us, like Dubuque, Iowa area, got over a foot. I know Mike and Amanda out there in Pennsylvania. Did you say you have ice coming, or do you have snow coming, Mike?
No, we got snow coming out here. It's supposed to be moving in early morning, right before the commute starts.
Nice. I know in south of us, they're talking Illinois is going to get hammered and stuff like that. So this is Promoter Month. My name is Jason Schultz. I'm one of the hosts. Logan Stevens up there in the upper left corner. He is one of our co-hosts. And Randy Fishbaugh is always with us normally as well. I think he ate too much turkey, and he said he's not feeling well, so he's gonna take the night off. So everybody talks about Bowling Green, Ohio all the time, and it's a coup de grace. If you've been there, the fans are amazing. There's 57 pro stocks. It's the the who's who of everything. But working with Full Pull and with Beer Money over the last 10, 15 years and Full Pull the last couple years, I've been exposed to a lot of really nice regional level events, state level events. And I'm not being derogatory when I say that at all, but I'm saying it's not a Bowling Green yet, right? And I thought, you know what? I reached out to Logan, and we're always kicking around ideas of who we want to have on the podcast. And I said, let's do a promoter. We were just going to do a promoter week and then figure out the rest of December. But I have like 20 people text me so-and-so, and you need to get this promoter on and stuff like that. So I know Mike and Amanda, got to know them with Weeklands. I know Leslie Foster down there in Woodbury, Tennessee. I know Kevin Davis in Wayne, Nebraska. And Jason Vanderwert, he was recommended to us by Ray Rice. Now I know Jason it's a 44 special John Deere Super Farm, I believe. I've seen you guys pull at Louisville, and I think you ran some Champions Tour stuff in the back like that. But I don't get to see a lot of New York pullers. So tonight's all about who you are. If you are a puller, tell us about your pulling vehicles. If you're not, you're just a happy promoter. We're going to talk about your event. I want to share some best practices, and then I obviously want other promoters that are watching and pullers and fans to share different ideas and stuff like that. So thanks again for coming. We appreciate you being here. Probably go an hour or so, unless you guys get sick of me, or maybe it'll go really good. But it's always fun when we get a lot of comments from people watching as well. So thanks for coming on tonight. Mike and Amanda, I'm going to pick on you first. Can you just give me the who, what, when, where, why? I know you guys are both pullers. Talk about your trucks and your tractor a little bit, Mike. And then we'll just go around the room and kind of make this a roundtable discussion.
I've been into pulling for when we were kids, antiques and that. Started out, and then we started into garden tractors when my daughter was probably 5. Our youngest started into garden tractors, and she told Pap she wanted a pulling track. And well, you know what happens when the grandkids speak; they get what they want. So we started out with it. It literally started out as a garden tractor track, but when we did it, we put it in with a D6 and we made it big. Then we pulled some antiques and that, and then we had Smoke and Speed roll in with us and that was in COVID year. Built the tractor 4 years now. Ran the full pull circuit last year, made the championship there and got to go to Louisville, and that was definitely a bucket list for me. And this year just wasn't a year, split the block mid-season and just pushed it in the corner for the rest of the year.
Fair enough. What was the first event that you guys promoted there at Weeklands? Horsepower Hill, I think that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
In Chest Springs, Pennsylvania. Is that accurate?
That is correct.
Yeah, it was actually Bowling Green weekend of COVID year because there was no Bowling Green. So Steve Eaton and Denver Getchy came in with Sarah with Smoke and Speed, and we had our very first pull that year, and kind of just grew from there. And we turned it into Oktoberfest after that because we want the pullers to be able to come because it's end of season. You know, we wanted something where everybody's coming just as one last hurrah. So that's why we made it Oktoberfest.
Well said. Well said. Foster, tell us
Yes,
a little bit
sir.
about yourself. Tell us about your family. You're pulling your two-wheel drive trucks, and then tell us about the first pull you promoted.
Okay, so I guess a little bit of history for me. My father started, I guess, truck pulling back in the mid 70s, early 70s, street four-wheel drives, and worked his way up through the pro stock four-wheel drives, then got blower four-wheel drives, and then two-wheel drives. So I've been pulling, I would say, ever since before I was born. I was at a tractor pull probably the weekend before I was born. So like I said, I've just been doing it all my life. I actually started driving blown two-wheel drives whenever I was 13, 14 years old. I got to go down the track for the first time. So we campaigned two-wheel drives, me, my dad, and my brother, usually on Mid-South pullers down here in Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky. The past couple of years, we've ran the Grand National Circuit just to go to some places that we don't normally get to go to. And so I teach ag, FFA advisor here in Middle Tennessee. So COVID year came around. It seems like a common topic here. We was trying to find a new fundraiser for our FFA chapter there. And so we decided to bring back the Woodbury Tractor Pull. Years ago, it started back in the late 70s, and it was a huge Mid-South pull for them from mid-70s, late 70s, all the way up until early 90s. And then small-town politics kind of got it knocked in the head there for a few years, and then we were able to bring it back after COVID. So we just had year 5 for the Woodbury FFA Championship Tractor Pull. So that's kind of my story here. So
You sent me a couple pictures. Which ones you want me to throw up there?
We'll talk about them later. I was just
Okay.
going to bring them up whenever we talked about different things. So
Perfect. I love it. Jason Vanderwerk. Am I saying that right, Jason?
You are, yes, Jason Vanderwerk. Yep.
Yeah. Tell us who you are, where you're from, what your pulling vehicle is. I know you have a super farm, and then talk about your event.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with my family. My father started out pulling farm stock tractors in the mid 70s. He had a Massey Ferguson that he called the Deer Hunter. And I kind of grew into that when I was 15 years old. And I think I've probably been down the track every year since then. But tractor pulling was kind of in my blood because the day after the local fair, I was born, and it was blamed on my mother jumping off the bed of a truck the night before. But anyway, very, very small town, Addison, Vermont. The Addison County Fairgrounds is just down the road from here, and that's where we started the Addison County Benefit Pull in 2006 in memory of my father, who had passed away from ALS in 2003. The pull started out as a very, I guess in this day and age, we would call it a brush pull, a lot of local stuff, garden tractors, antiques, farm stock, hot farm, altered farm, street legal trucks, all the locals. And it's just grown and grown and grown every year, by participants, spectators, and sponsorship. We've raised probably $1.2 million from this event over the years.
Wow.
We've, it's the very last pull of the year for a bunch of the organizations that come here. So it's like the last points pull for everybody. So a lot of people come, and we've been named NYTPA Pull of the Year for 5 consecutive years. I've been campaigning super farms for about 10 years now, mostly with NYTPA. We've hit some ESP stuff. That's the ESP would be the Western New York group. In 2022, we tried the Champions Tour with PPL, and then we went to probably 2/3 of the events before we had some breakage that didn't really make it worth the travel for the rest of the season. But yeah, when the season's over, we sometimes go get outside of the normal realm. And I've been down to Weeklands probably 3 or 4 times in the past 5-6 years, I think. So I try to hit, I don't know, 30 events a year. And one of my big things is I can't ask somebody else to come to my event if I don't go to theirs.
That sounds like Mike Weekland. I've heard him say that before. Him and Amanda said that to me. So good stuff. Good stuff. Cool. We'll come back to you, Jason. Thank you. Kevin Davis, how much snow is on the ground in Nebraska, buddy?
6 inches.
6 inches. That's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
Good deal. Kevin, I think you have the only fair pull out of all the promoters here tonight with us. Because
Yes.
I guess I don't know. It sounds like Jason's is a standalone event. I know Wesley's is. I know Mike and Amanda's is. So kind of introduce yourself and tell us about how you got into promoting truck and tractor pulls. And I know you have friends with pulling vehicles. And I don't know if I've ever asked you if you've ever owned a pulling vehicle, Kevin.
Nope, never have. We've
You're
always
the only
followed.
one with half a brain on here. Then the rest of us are just.
Kevin Davis, Wayne, Nebraska. Been on our county fair board for 21 years. I'm the fair manager for them. Took it over after my dad passed away, and then so I've been on the board ever since. But we were with Bush for many years, and then the PPL and them joined together, and we had them for a few years, and now we left them, and we went with the Outlaws the last 4 years, going on number 5 now. So that's kind of where we're at. It's just a little, it's a local county fair, but Jason, you've been there. We're trying to make it bigger and better every year.
Yeah, those new bleachers you put in a couple years ago, Kevin, talk about those a little bit, because those are massive.
Yeah, and when everybody was talking about COVID, Nebraska had a bunch of COVID money, so we were able to get new bleachers put in. Our grandstand before only held 22 to 2,300. I worked it out that we were able to use the COVID money and put in a new bleachers, put everybody all on one side, a room for over 5,000 people all on one side, handicap accessible. So that was a nice thing that we were able to get out of COVID, so it didn't cost any of the taxpayers any money. And so everybody's all sits on one side, and all the tractors and pickups all line up on the other side, and the announcers face the grandstand, so which is nice. That way everybody's able to see the tractors and the pickups before they go down the track, and there's no bad seats in the house.
Well said. And then tell them about you have 2 big screens. That's the first time I'd seen that when I came here.
Yeah, we rent them, but now we have also we got 3 of our own. I got them from the State Fair of Nebraska. They were putting new ones in, so they give them away. They are the 11 by 14s. So we got 3 other ones now, and we put all of our ads on all of them and run everybody's sponsorship on them all the way through the fair. We got 4 things going on in our venue there. So these TV screens are rolling all the time with everybody's logos on them and who's helping promote the fair.
Nice. I like it a lot. All right, Mike and Amanda, what makes your events different in the area, or why do you think they've gathered a national reputation? I mean, I feel like a lot of people flock to Weeklands in October and in the May event as well when you don't get rained out. But tell me, in your opinion, and I know everybody's humble on this call, but this is about sharing best practices and things that you do that you think that make your event special. Because how else do you get people to drive out to the mountains of Pennsylvania, Mike, and come hang out with you for a weekend? So,
well, I think having beginning of the year and end of the year definitely makes a difference. Beginning of the year, people want to test hook or want to try out something new. End of the year, the season's over. So as long as they're not broke, they're going to come. it's a 2-day hook for most of our classes in May and October, which is also huge because a lot of those guys that are coming from far away, you don't want them to travel if they're not pulling, for 2 days. They don't want to come for just a one-night hook. And as you mentioned, we're pullers ourselves, so we kind of know what people want to see, what they want to do, how to lay things out. All of that kind of helps, I think. And
I think a lot of the, how I want to say, backwoods country stuff that we let the people allow to do, we're open, which we pay for it, another insurance policy, but we're open coolers. Bring your lawn chair in, sit down on the hillside.
We're open pits.
Pits.
It's not a different price if you're going into the pits.
Yeah, I mean, you sit down. They build the fire right in the area where you're sitting with your lawn chair. They have campfires burning all night. We've really have been very fortunate with the respect that we've had with our fans. They've been very good for that. We try and always do something for the kids. That's the only way the sport's going to grow, if you do stuff for the kids. Pedal pulls. We did trick or treat this October. We didn't know how it was going to turn out. There was more people walking through the pits with their kids dressed up in costumes wanting candy than we ever dreamt. I mean, that was a big hit this year.
Did you have any adults doing that, Mike or Amanda?
Probably after hours. We probably don't want to take pictures.
Yeah, drink or beer.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I'd say that's some of our key things. I mean, like Mandy says, as a puller, as some of us are, you kind of know what you go to a pull. And anymore, some people ask, we're doing more at our place and growing and putting 2 tracks. And everybody says, when are you going to have time to pull? Well, I'm not really, we're going to make our time to pull, but I like to see people have fun, and I like to go to places. It's more of a job now going somewhere else to say, hey, we're not going to do that, or boy, that was a good idea. We're going to take that home with us.
Quite honestly, the part that we enjoy the most about pulling is the people and the hanging out and the camaraderie. The pulling is just a bonus on top of it, honestly.
Perfect. Foster, what makes Woodbury, Tennessee different in your mind? What are some things you've tried to make it special, to make it different? Because you have to admit, there's a lot of truck and tractor pulls now. There is. In Wisconsin, where I live, you can throw a stone and there's a truck and tractor pull every 3 or 4 days, during June, July, and August. You have to ask Jason. I know New York has a lot of pulling, but I don't know if there's as many pulls in New York and Vermont as there is in our neck of the woods. But what do you do, Wesley, that you think makes Woodbury different?
There's 2 things that I think of whenever I like to talk about Woodbury. Number one, we are a school group. We're an FFA group. Jason, you've been there yourself. We've got right around 250 FFA members. The school size itself is only like 490, so we're right at half the school is in our FFA
it's
program.
Like a gang, Foster. It's like a gang. The FFA is a gang. Right?
Some people call it a cult. We don't like to call it that. But,
when I was in school, you either were a sports guy, you were a band geek, or you smoked cigarettes on Cancer Corner. You couldn't do all 3. So that was just so if you go to Woodbury, you got to be an FFA.
But you have to agree, Jason, whenever you come there, everywhere you look, it's high school students working the concession stand booths. Whenever the puller pulls up to the gate, it's the high school students are welcoming them into the pool and, thank you for coming. Here's your armbands. Here's free hats. Here's whatever. Once again, you go to the concession stand, it's students working the concession stand. Yes, we have, adults there to kind of monitor everything, but like I said, we have right around 240-ish FFA members, and I think right at 200 of them was working the tractor pull. Now, another thing with that, though, is you think 200 people working it, yeah, you're losing out on some money, but that's also what we're raising the money for. Is for those FFA students. And we don't allow any outside vendors into the pool. So every booth that is there, everything that's going on is a different club or a sports team or whatnot selling the booth. So the cotton candy is done by FCCLA. The girls basketball team is over here selling sweet tea, lemonade, and baked goods, or whatever it might be. So every booth there is a fundraiser for not just FFA, but for the other school groups there. The other thing that I think of whenever I think of Woodbury, I'm a puller myself, so I know how I want to be treated whenever I come to a pool, and that's one thing that we try very hard with Woodbury FFA is making sure that the pullers feel welcomed and that they are wanted whenever they get there. We make sure that every puller that comes into the gate gets free hats. Some years we've had, really good years, and we've even paid entry fees for the pullers, where you just show up and you pull for money. We have belt buckles for the champions. We try to pay a nice purse for Mid-South pullers here at our pool. So it's one of those things that we want to make sure that the pullers feel wanted and welcome there at our event. Every year we get a list of all the members from the Mid-South pullers. We write handwritten invitations to every puller that is able to pull with us. And then at the end of the pool, whenever we're done, every puller that did show up, every tech official, everyone that helps works that pool, we make sure that they get a handwritten thank you card at the end of it. So once again, we just want to make sure that people know that they're wanted at Woodbury FFA's championship tractor pool. So
I love it. I love it. We'll come back and talk about kids after this. So I'm going to go to Jason next. Jason, what are the things that you do or you think that stand out to make Addison the Addison County Benefit and Addison, Vermont? What makes it special? Why has it grown to what it is today?
Well, for myself being a competitor, a promoter, and a lot of people don't know this, but I'm also on the board of directors for NYTPA. I kind of see all sides of the spectrum when it comes to putting on an event. And, one of the big things that I feel is you need to be entertainment. Like entertainment needs to be at a high level to get people to come through the gate, people to look forward to coming to your event. So we've done 2 tracks for, I think, every year. Maybe not the first few, but definitely the last 15, 16 years. We've done 2 tracks. I've had 3, 4 sleds. Sometimes we've had 5 sleds there for the different types of vehicles. Another big thing we do is we have a sponsor that sponsors barbecue chicken dinner. So we give chicken dinner tickets to 2 for every entry to our event. So there's basically a free meal, 2 free meals for each entry. Basically one for one day of the weekend. We try to do like a Friday night session and an all day Saturday. So it's a good way to keep people there. We've got like 130 campsites available, so people can bring campers in and plug in with water and power. So it makes it easy for people to stay over because there's not a lot of accommodations locally. We've got a few different food vendors, but we make sure that there's definitely vendors there to accommodate all of our pullers and our spectators. But I think having the 2 tracks, so there's like nonstop action going, keeping people entertained so they stick around for the day. While people are there, they spend money on food and merchandise. We have a silent auction, 50-50. There's a lot of different ways we make money by doing what we do. And it just keeps growing year over year.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Kev.
Yep.
What do you do in Wayne? Now, not everybody knows this, but how far are you from Wisner, Nebraska?
22 miles.
Okay. There's a lot of outlaw pulling in your area, and Wisner is that big name event that's been going on a long time. What have you done, to elevate Wayne up into that Wisner level? You guys just won Pull of the Year for your division with the Outlaws. What are things that you think make the Wayne County Fair successful? And it's only one night. I mean, what you guys do for one night, it's amazing.
Yeah, we run one night because we use our grandstand for 4 other things for the county fair. But my thing is, like everybody said, 2 tracks, 2 sleds. That's huge. Last year we had 135 hooks. We were done in 3.5 hours. I mean, that's from start to finish. We were all done. I think another big thing is not overpricing yourself at the gate so your people can afford to come to a county fair and do other things besides, I feel some of them have overpriced themselves. So I think that kind of breaks us down from everybody else. But running 2 tracks and getting it done so people can go do other things, because not everybody wants to sit there for 5 to 6 hours. Some people do, but a lot of them after 2.5, 3 hours want to go do stuff, and kids can go to the midway and do all that. So I push to get the show done in, between 3 to 3.5 hours. So that's kind of where we are, because we have an outlaw pull the night before us. It's a regional hook, and then we go to ours, and then they go down the road over into Iowa to Lamar's. So, I mean, when you got all that, to me, when you're trying to keep it, to me, you just try and run a good show. And we have some classes in there that are Nebraska classes. So that way you will actually draw more people in the seats. And that's what we've always talked, Jason. If you don't have people sitting in your seats, you're not proving what you need to do, and you need to have them people there. So like with say the tractors and the 2-wheel drive pickups, a lot of them people will bring 15 to 20 people that'll come that are only 20 miles from there, come and watch the whole thing, and paid that $20 to come in the gates. So that's why we look at that, but we run 13 classes. So that's kind of where we're at. And, like you were just saying, with us being close to Wisner, Wisner's a very good run venue down there. But, and ours just being a one-day show, that's kind of where we're at.
Well, I bring that up only, Kevin, because I think it's hard. There are parts of the country that are saturated with certain associations. I live in Wisconsin. Within a couple hours of me, everybody has a Badger State pool,
Right.
And I want the fans to be able to, almost to see different things. But some of these fairs, like you, have done a good job. And there's you could spend 10 days in a row out in Nebraska hitting all your guys's, and a lot of them are outlaw events. But I see big crowds at all of them, and that it just makes me happy. So I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. So
that's
Mike,
huge.
Go ahead, Lucas. Sorry, buddy.
That's huge to move through an event in 3.5 hours when you're putting 130 some odd vehicles down the track in 13 classes. What I want to know for some of these with a workshop for other promoters is what are some ways that you guys have gotten your event out there and marketing wise that seem to have worked well that you can kind of share to get more butts and seats around the country?
I was going to segue into that. That's not like Mike and Amanda, and I'm going to ask this to everybody, how early do you begin planning your events? What do you do 2 or 3 months out? Because I think I think there was a time a promoter would just, I'm going to go hang up a couple posters at the local gas station and hope like hell some people come. And then they piss and moan that the pulling classes cost too much, cost this much to rent porta potties. I don't feel like people promote well enough. And I think if you got to get a big crowd there to help pay for it, and obviously sponsorship helps as well. But what do you guys do, to Logan's point, to promote the event? When do you start planning your events? Let's talk about some of that stuff, some of the behind the scenes.
Well, as far as planning, I mean, we've already started planning for next year. We have our dates set for May and October, and we're throwing in a mid-season pull in July this year as well. We're using Pull Off Productions in May and October. Joey is fantastic as far as promoting on Facebook. His reels, his videos, the things that he puts up, they're amazing. This is one of the first years that I've had like a sanctioning body helping me with the promoting. A lot of the times I do it on my own on Facebook, and it's a lot of work, and it's like constant, never ending. And Joey does a really, really great job. So I get to give a shout out to him for helping. And I know that he will continue to do that for us this coming year. But no, we've already started looking for sponsors, trying to secure new sponsors. Already talked to, like I said, Joey about our dates, and we want to secure our classes right away. That way, when the fair schedules come out after, convention in January, everybody knows where they're going for the whole year. We think it's important for them to know right away.
I think, I don't know if you guys have had any issues yet. We've already had issues with some fairs already being bumped back a week this year. I don't know why. I don't think it's.
Is there? I feel like there's one every couple of years. There's 5 weekends in July or 5 weekends in June, and it messes with everything.
Or October, we've already got reached out to by even Ohio guys, and that, hey, you might want to think about your October date. You might want to bump it back or something. So we're actually getting a hold of some of the Ohio people from the fair board. Just that's one thing as a puller. And as a promoter, you hate to try and double book anywhere because it don't work out for anybody. Then you're pulling people to choose and that. But as sponsorship and that, we've had people reach out to us that want to be sponsors for us, not us reaching out to them already this year. That means a lot. So we're definitely pushing that envelope. I have a notebook on my desk. I'm sitting doing stuff throughout the day at the shop, and I just go write down somebody that I need to get a hold of. And as a promoter reaching out to sponsors, I feel it's more than just a phone call anymore that they want to feel. I feel that we've set up lunch dates already. If you want to hit people up for more money or, hey, what can you do for us as a sponsor? You got, like they were saying with the screens at the fair. We're looking at a big sign at the entrance of our track that's going to be digital, that's going to be playing 24/7, 365 days a year. If they're going to sponsor 4, 5, 10 grand, whatever it is, you want to give them the best bang for their buck out there, that they're going to say, oh, wow, they're doing something for me. I want to sponsor again, So
you're basically creating the Weeklands Motorsports Park, Mike, is what you just told me.
Maybe. We'll see. People say you build it, they'll come.
That's an Iowa thing. That's an Iowa thing. The Field of Dreams.
It seems like it works. We'll see what happens this year. I mean, you guys all seen what the additions we put on already this year. So we got to add another 5 acres of parking. So what's that tell you?
Yeah, I love it. Well, I love it. Jason, how long do you start planning ahead of time? What do you do a couple of months out? How do you work with sponsors?
Well, I was already having ideas and plans for 2026 before the event in 2025 happened. And as things go, people make suggestions, and you know a little bit about what's direction some of the classes are headed. So you might decide, maybe I'll try a different class or a different group this coming year. One of the things I like to do is not have it be the same old thing year over year. Try something new, see if it works. I don't really like it when people say, "Oh, that won't work." Give me an opportunity to try it, see if it works. Like Mike just said, competing with another event close by isn't good for anybody. And I think for our group, I don't really want there to be another event within, like, say, 8 hours of me the weekend of our event. And part of that's part of the reason why I bring in 4 or 5 different organizations and secure them with our event, so that I know they're not doing it than anywhere else.
Jason, do you have to pay extra insurance for all those different associations?
So with ESP and NYTPA are both with PPL, so
okay,
no for those two. But if I bring in, like, the New York Hot Farm group, yes. The Vermont group, yes. And I've been talking with Joey as well about bringing him here next year. So there's going to be additional insurances, but that's fine. the insurance isn't the huge cost, really. I mean, it's enough, but the purse payout is the big cost.
Yep.
But that goes to the pullers, and at the end of the day, the folks that are pulling, we certainly aren't getting rich off the purse money.
No, we're not.
I think as far as advertising, we could do a lot better. When I met with Joey about a month ago or so, and he was showing me some of the stuff he's done, and it's pretty incredible what he does to promote the events. I don't see that in a lot of other organizations, but our group, we get like 200, I call them lawn signs. I get like 200 double-sided lawn signs printed, and our group goes around and puts them all up, within an hour radius, probably. We work with a radio station that it's not just one, it's a Hall Communications is the name of the group, and they do an ad for us, and it goes on like 4 or 5 different radio stations. That helps. Obviously we do the Facebook thing. We would have people share our page, and we'd give away a T-shirt like once a week for people that shared that week the event. And it keeps growing and growing. I mean, we had the best year ever this past year, but still, I want to say only had 4,000 people. I want to see 10,000 people. But 4,000 is a long ways from the 1,500 we started with.
That's awesome. That is awesome how it's grown. Wes, kind of the same line. When do you guys start planning next year? I like what Jason said. He already's planning 26 before 25 is even done. And then what do you guys do in 2 or 3 months out? And then how do you guys go after sponsors?
So talking about the planning, and I know Mike and them was talking about that earlier. I'm also the Mid-South Pullers promoter director. So I'm basically in charge of the scheduling for Mid-South Pullers. And this year is a weird year where everybody's date has been moved around. So as they said, or he said earlier, I'm looking at stuff before the show even, starts for what's going on next year. I will say that for us, which a lot of my help is, the FFA kids. So usually our first week of school is the first week of August. So I've usually got everything lined out, and then as soon as school starts back, then we start hitting it really, really hard. So that gives us about 6 to 7 weeks there that we're really hitting it hard with everything. Advertising, I've tried a lot of different ways here over the past 5 years. I know a lot of people have luck with radio. I'm just right outside of Nashville, so there is radio everywhere. And the problem with that also is it is extremely expensive here in Middle Tennessee for any radio advertising, just because of the Nashville market. So I did that radio advertising a few years there, and then I've kind of stepped aside from that. I do a lot of billboards. I say billboards. The first year we did actually billboards. And I got to thinking there's got to be a cheaper way to do this. So once again, we're a shop FFA kids. So we actually built our own billboards. Jason, I sent one of those pictures over to you. We just found like boat trailers or utility trailers, and we built, 10 by 20 foot billboards, and had vinyl banners made. That's it. That was about the cover crops on the track that I was going to talk about later.
No,
Keep going. That's Ardmore. Keep going.
Yeah, my internet is being dumb. Give me a second.
You're good. But once again, so we have those billboards that we set up, and we move them, so they're not permanent billboards. They're on a trailer, so we are constantly moving them. I'll set them somewhere for 1 week, and then at the end of that week, we'll move them. We're not with a fair, but all of the county fairs around us are going on, the weeks before us. So each county fair, I make sure that one of those mobile billboards is close to the entrance to the fair. I find a sponsor or something that is close there, that we set it up, and we get them out there. So we're able to build or expand. We might set them up out in front of the elementary schools one week and in front of the high school the next week or whatever. But I think we're up to 6 of the mobile billboards right now. And like I said, they're full size, 10-foot tall, 20-foot long billboards that we do. I've had a lot of luck, I feel like, with the Facebook route, Facebook ads. I try to do a pinpoint on locations. I don't just say, Facebook, here's my money, go do it, because in the long run, I don't think that I'm going to be getting people that are more than 2 hours away from my event coming on. So I try to focus within that, 150 mile radius of our event. And I kind of time it to the weather, do a little bit here, a little bit there. And then that week of the event, if the weather looks good for Saturday, then I really, really push it hard on the Facebook ad side of it. Another thing that I do, I find we talk about all these events that are close to us. Whenever there is an event that is close to me, then I pinpoint and locate, do a geo spot over or around that event. So, because who's going to be at those events? Tractor pull fans. So that's what I'm trying to hit. Even though, you take Chapel Hill is an hour away from us, I'm going to be trying to hit some of that Chapel Hill traffic with my Facebook ads the week of Chapel Hill. So maybe somebody's looking at Facebook before the show starts or in between classes there, and maybe they'll see my event through that with that also. So
I love it. Can you talk about that geo thing a little bit? What is all that, Foster?
Just whenever you're doing your Facebook ads, you can pinpoint where you want the ad to go. So, you can set it to different cities or a different radius wherever. So like you take the another event that's going on, you can set it up within a 10-mile radius or a 2-mile radius of the event there. A couple of weeks before, or say there's a local fair going on, I'm going to set it up there at that fair because I know that's where the people are going to be at for that week. I know he was talking about the yard signs earlier. We do a lot of yard signs too, but it's a little bit different. We do it for our sponsors, and it's like this, proud sponsor of the Woodbury FFA Championship Tractor Pull and have the date on it. And then we have the FFA kids carry them out. So every sponsor has one of these yard signs out. I feel like sometimes too, that kind of puts peer pressure on people that's not sponsoring the show. They're like, well, I'm the only one here in this area that doesn't have one of them yard signs in front of my business. I guess I need to sponsor. So once again, we kind of peer pressure a little bit. And then one other thing that I do also is we give free tickets to pre-K through 3rd grade for all the elementary schools in our area. It's one of those things that our kids' tickets or child tickets are $5 a piece. So I basically give away a $5 ticket, but somebody's got to bring that child also to the pool. So maybe I can get them into the event and get them to buy a hamburger or T-shirt or something along that lines and make up the money. So I know that last year we gave away right at 1,200 tickets to all the pre-K through 3rd grade in our county and surrounding counties. Yes, we had about 700 of them turned in, so a little over half of them. But once again, somebody had to also bring those kids. So I'll get a $15 ticket off of the parents or the brothers and sisters or anything like that. So it's one of those things like I got to get them in the door to make up, I guess, make money somewhere else, or maybe they'll enjoy themselves and come back next year also.
I love it. I love it. These are the kind of things I want to share with everybody watching, and then obviously some of the other promoters. I think it just keeps triggering ideas and stuff like that, Wesley. So I love it. Kevin, when do you start planning next year's poll? What do you do 2 or 3 months out? And then I know how crazy anal organized you are. And then also, let's talk about sponsorships with you. How much different is it with the fair?
I would say it's really a lot more different. I start planning right after the fair. I've been being the fair manager. You got to do everything. So I'm working on contracts right away. Tractor pull, been working on it, everything else. We got 17 on our board. So then we go out as a board and we sell sponsorships. But what we do as a county fair, we got it broke down. We do a 300, a 500, 750, and then 1,000 and a 1,500. Now we're adding a 2,500. So when you add them in, then the people get that. But like all the other guys said, when them yard signs, so we got a big chain link fence out there where all the pullers park and people walk by it. We start out there. Right now the $1,500 ones are right up in front, right by the beginning of the track. They're all lined up all the way around the track. And then we start on the fence, and you start with your all your different groups going all the way up through there. And just like everybody says, once them people from that area or whatever are coming to watch, they see a sign out there, and they said they'll find a fair board member, because we all wear red shirts, and they'll say, "How do I get a sign?" And whatever, they might start at a $300 corporate sponsor, and then they'll gradually increase every year. But in that corporate sponsor, then they get season passes in that, and then they'll get some ride tickets and maybe a couple lunch vouchers. So you try and entice it to the public so the people are getting something back for their money. So that's kind of how we grow ours. County fair is way different than when you have just a standalone event. And then trophy sponsors. I sponsor every class with a trophy, and I've got a waiting list of people wanting to do trophies. I mean, so then we give them a break. If they sponsor a trophy, they get their name on the TV, and every corporate ad, like I said, on our extra TVs, them corporate ads are run on that TV. So the people sitting in the grandstand, they can look at these ads all day long, and they can see it. And the people say, well, whatever, their $300 or their $500 went to a good use, and their names put out there in that area.
Kevin, talk about that meal that you do before the poll. I think I've never seen that.
Yeah, we do on Friday night, our poll's Friday night. We do a free barbecue for anybody that comes in the gate. It's a free barbecue. You go through the line, but our pullers,
not just pullers,
just not pullers, everybody. Everybody that comes through the fair, but then the pullers are fed separately up on the hill up there. We feed them all up there. They got all their own food and their own picnic tables all up there, all under shades. We feed them all up there, so that way they can just walk across, because right behind our grandstand is right where the pullers are. The pullers don't only have to go like less than 100 yards to get to the track, because that's where they're all parked at. So they can walk across. We got access for them to get through gates to get over there. So, and that's just another thank you for them to come out, and appreciate them coming to put on a show for everybody, because we all know, you guys all know what it costs to build these tractors and these pickups. And we just appreciate everybody coming out and doing it. And we just want to feed them, and it's just another little thank you. That's the way I look at it.
Perfect. Mike and Amanda, kids, I know you talked about your trick or treat a little bit, but what do you guys do, kids, at the Weeklands events? What have you seen at other events that you like? I want to share some best practices for kids, because they have, we talked about a 3 to 4 hour max seat time. I think a kid, if it's anybody like my kids, they have about 10 minutes of the seat time. So what can we do to keep kids engaged so we do get the entire family coming?
I really like, before we go any farther, I really like the giving the tickets away at the school. I just told Mandy already, we're definitely going to try that. And the packets, like you said, Kevin, about we do the same thing for our sponsors too. There's packets which we're even going to change out this year. We're going to mail them out, because it's too much for the girls at the gates to take care of. But this year we had packets made for all of our sponsors. They picked them up at the gate. They had free vouchers in them. They got, I forget, one or two. They got a couple free T-shirts. We're even looking at doing like a VIP seating for some of like a corporate track sponsor for the year. have a spot, and not just for the polls. Like if we do a concert or whatever, that covers the whole year at the track. Anything that's going on at the track, you got to drag these sponsors in somehow to try and help keep it going. For the kids, I'm always trying to think of something for the kids to do, because I'm, like you said, Jason, 8-9-year-olds, maybe 3 to 5-year-olds, you got to give them something else to do. I even thought about Bunker Hill has like a little playground and a sandbox, Hey, take your little sister and go play. I want to keep watching, Mom and dad are going to keep watching the show if the kids aren't, hey, I want to leave, I want to leave, I want to leave,
No, well said. Well said.
Good idea.
Jason, what are some things you've done for kids up at your Addison pool?
Well, we've tried a bunch of different things. One of the big things we do is our garden tractor event has a youth class, and it's big. It's like 35 entries every year just for the kids in the youth class for the garden tractor division. So there's that. We do a pedal tractor pull, which takes a couple hours. We've tried a touch a truck thing that didn't really work out as well as we would have hoped. But
what's that, Jason?
Well, a touch a truck is like, you bring a fire truck in, you bring a combine in, you bring a state truck, a plow truck, things like that maybe the kids don't see every day. We do face painting. We do one thing that you wouldn't believe is such a big hit for like young kids is we have these couple of these little boxes. They're basically like a sandbox, but we fill it with corn seed. So it's basically a corn box, and it's amazing how entertained like a 5-6-year-old kid isn't just a box of corn. But yeah, no, it's a struggle because you have to get the kids there if you want to get the parents there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this year we tried something new as well. We had a traveling mini golf company come in had like a 9-hole mini golf setup. It was relatively cheap. I think it cost us $300-400 for them to come there and set up for half the day. We're going to do better. We're going to do that again, but we have better ideas to make that better for next year as well.
Oh, I like it. Wesley, don't say a word. I have a picture of one of the coolest things I saw right here. Go ahead. You can talk now, Wesley. Sorry. You can unmute yourself, bud.
Turn my mic on there. So I seen this started years ago at some of our other Mid-South pools that we do throughout the year. I know like the Hammond, Louisiana did it down there. Ardmore Truck and Tractor with Daryl Norman down there, he done it. So we incorporated this into our show a few years ago. And once again, it's one of those things that instead of doing a pedal pull, have the kid bring in their own power wheels, which let's be real, the sled is just made for them to all make a full pull because it's not really a true contest, but they all get to go home and tell everybody that they made a full pull, which I had stickers made for everyone that was able to pull in the Power Wheels a few years ago, got a free sticker to go on different things. I'll touch on the tickets again that we do for the elementary schools. For promoters out there, one thing that I do suggest, I sent Jason a picture. I don't know if he can get them up in time.
I don't know.
Or not.
I got a couple of your emails, Wes.
I just sent it to you in a text message. We put different vehicles on the tickets, and make sure that you put child's free ticket or whatever on it, because we do pre-sale tickets also, but sometimes you've got some sleazy adults that try to sneak in with those free tickets also instead of their kids. So every ticket that we do, so the adult pre-sale tickets, child pre-sale tickets have different vehicles on them, and then our free tickets also has a third different vehicle on there, and we just pick different vehicles, and that way whenever they come up and they turn in that free ticket, we can look at it and be like, okay, this is the free ticket because it's got the correct vehicle on it. Whenever we're doing those free tickets also, we do colored sheets. We'll this year, I think we did like 4 or 5 different vehicles that are actually Mid-South vehicles. Chat GTP works wonders. Send in a photo to it, and it'll make a coloring sheet if you have the correct, I guess, prompt for Chat GTP. But it made coloring sheets, and we had, the Woodbury FFA championship tractor pull with the dates and everything up in the corner of it. And we told the kids, color this and bring it and have the driver of this sign it at the event, and you'd be surprised at how many different kids wanted to get their coloring sheet signed by the different pullers. And like I said, we'll just make different copies in different colors. So if they want a tractor, then they can color a tractor. If they want a two-wheel drive pulling truck, they can color a two-wheel drive pulling truck. And once again, I'm not the one that came up with that. I heard that at a different event. Maybe it was Hammond, Louisiana, or Ardmore, somewhere like that I was at, and I was like, that's a really good idea. So we started doing that with the coloring sheets and the free tickets. And then once again, the Power Wheels pull also for the kids.
Yeah, and Daryl and Charlie and Ari are definitely on my list to have on for future weeks as well, Les. But this is what's fun about this. I see Mike and Amanda kind of looking at each other like this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. It's really great to hear other ideas.
Some of this stuff. But it's fun.
I'll send you a copy.
That, picture.
Yeah. So those are the adult tickets. You can see, I couldn't find, but see where it says adult admission on it. We'll just change it to, the child-free ticket. But we also put up all of our major sponsors on it. I think we go through Event Groove is who does our tickets for this, and they're nice tickets, and they're all individually numbered. You can see down there underneath the barcode. I don't use the barcode, but we do use the individual tickets numbered, I guess, on there. So that way we can kind of keep up with how many tickets we did give out where. And another thing that we like to do with the numbers, so like the different.
Who's next? We took Jason. Kevin's next. Kevin, anything special you guys have done for kids? Keep kids
it's kind of about like what Jason said, the corn pit. I mean, that is a huge thing for them young kids. But then going back to with the last question, when the guys we were talking about radio and that. So radio is huge in our area. I use the radio, the TV, and then we use Facebook, and then we also use you guys. And I think that's the big thing. The TV we don't use till a month before our fair starts, so that way it gets out there. And same thing with you guys, Jason. We use it, the beer money. Yep. And you guys hit all them other sites, and then we can everybody shares it. I think that part is huge. But as the kids, the corn pit, that's good to have. We love that.
So a corn pit, is that a cent? Is it a box just full of corn?
Yes,
just like a sandbox?
Shell corn. And them little kids just love it. They just go down there and play in it. And it's actually we think it's better than the sand because the kids with the diapers and they just whatever. I mean, they're all in there and they're just having a great time. So that
Kevin,
there's just
do you ever get in there? Do you ever get in there after the poll, Kevin, late at night?
No, Jason, I have not been in there. I usually don't have time and I don't want to.
like it. I like it. Okay, cool. All right, Mike and Amanda, I'm circling back to you. Three questions now. I want to know, how do you pick your classes? How do you pick your date? And how do you figure out what you're going to charge for admission? And go. How do you pick your classes, Amanda?
Gosh, I mean, we try to go back and forth a little bit. So like things that we do in May, we don't necessarily do in October. And that's why we added a July poll this year to try and get some of those like smaller, more local classes back in, because it's so hard to have those for our big 2-day polls. I don't know. And we look at numbers, we try to look at, okay, so this class is going to bring in roughly 10 to 15 pullers. This class is going to bring in, 20 pullers. So you have to, have some of the bigger and smaller classes so that you don't end up with 100.
Well, like you said, though, when Kevin said about, bringing in classes, if you bring in a class of 20, you're going to bring in 100 more people because you're bringing hey, mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, they're pulling this weekend. Let's go. So you got to kind of base it off that. But then in the other aspect, like Mandy says, you got to kind of look at, you want 100 hook night. You can't have 5 20 class night. You got to kind of watch out your hook numbers too. What was one of the other questions?
I thought of another one real quick for you guys. Are there certain classes that fans just go nuts for out there at Weeklands, at Chestnut Springs, Pennsylvania? Like they have to see X?
No, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, our crowd really just likes to come and watch a good show. I don't even know that a lot of our crowd would know the difference between, a super farm like Jason's and light pro like Mike's. A lot of times our crowd doesn't even know that. They want to see smoke and they want to see wheels in the air, and, they're pretty much happy with that.
Okay. How do you pick your date?
Our dates are our dates for our beginning and end. We made that up this past year. That's why we posted right after our last hook. We're Memorial Day weekend, and we're the first weekend in October. But I say that about the first weekend in October, and then we heard about
we're having issues this year.
We're having issues this year, but it's still going to be the beginning of October. It ain't going to jump to the end of September or anything like that. Our 2 big hooks of the year are always going to be that. Back to getting in your pay. I don't think, Jason, you said it, I don't know, it's been a month or so, you had that post on there. Where do you go for $5 an hour and get entertainment if you charge $20 for a 4-hour show? Where guys go and spend that for lunch at Sheetz every day for when they're working. I don't know. I still think as a puller, I mean, some of our committee says, yeah, $20 might be a little too much. Well, it might be, but you can't go backwards in life. Everything goes up. We're going to do our June or our July pool. We're going to do it. Kids are free this time to try and do something that way. I don't think $20 is out of line. You can't go watch a concert for that. You can't go watch monster trucks. You can't go to a dirt track for it. We're the cheapest motorsport out there.
We are. No, and you're 100% right. And that's why I put that question out there. Thank you. Thank you for your honesty on that. Let's go to Jason. Jason, how do you pick your classes? I know sounds like you have a lot of different associations, but you talked about that briefly, but how do you pick your classes every year?
Well, our event started like with the local people, and I'm never going to forget the locals because that helped us get going. They may not be the classes that bring the big crowd of people in there, but even the garden tractors, you're not going to fill the stands, but the kids, parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles, you'd be surprised if 10 or 12 people may not show up to watch a kid they know with a garden tractor. So we're always going to do those, but like in prime time, we do the bigger stuff, the higher horsepower, the smoke, the speed, the noise. I'm not a big noise guy, but I know there's a lot of people that are. So we always try to do a mix of noise and smoke. And I want classes that are going to be competitive. I want classes that are going to be full. I want to see 10 vehicles in a class minimum. Sometimes you get closer to 20, but just mixing it up. And we've, as far as dates go, we've been the last weekend of summer is what I like to call it most of the time. We tried it Labor Day weekend once, and it was kind of a flop because there's just too much going on Labor Day weekend. People are camping, doing other things. So the last weekend of the last weekend of summer is what we do. I know it's always the same weekend as the Enderley, but I don't really know that we lose too many people that are going to come to our event to the Enderley. As far as admission goes, it's a touchy subject. I want the husband and wife and 3 kids to be able to come and afford it. I don't want them not to come because we're overpricing ourselves. But at the same token, it's got to be a balance. per structures for some of these classes are $5,000 for 10, 12 places. So, you got to pay for the event. So right, current state of mind, we're $20 for an adult and $10, I believe, if from like 9 to 15, and then I think under 9 are free is what we've been doing.
Okay.
I think we will probably bump the adults up to 25 for this coming year, just because of increases in the cost of other things. But one thing I do want to say too that I missed earlier is our sponsors. We really try hard to make sure our event is paid for 100% by our sponsors before it ever starts. So if it's all a flop, we still got it covered. So every dollar spent throughout the weekend is just going in the pot for what we take home.
Nice. I like it. Foster, how do you? Well, speaking of a noise guy, this guy likes noise. Jason, I'm with you. I'm a smoke guy. But I need to wear earplugs, Wesley. All those years of standing by you guys, starting to catch up with me a little bit. How do you pick your classes, boss?
So we normally run 5 classes at our show. I'm sometimes, I guess, a little bit different than other people. I know some people want 20 vehicles in a class. Let's get the big number classes. 8 to 10 vehicles, 8 to 12 vehicles. Let's roll on to the next thing, because that spectator is ready to see something different after 30 minutes or 45 minutes. So once again, I don't pick my classes based on class sizes. We've got 4 main classes that we run every year, and that's because that's where our local pullers are. You take the 2-wheel drives. There's 3 2-wheel drives here in our county, and then you go connecting counties. We're probably up there to the 6 or 7 2-wheel drives here within just connecting counties. Lightweight supers, same deal. We've got 3 lightweight supers here in the county, and then you go connecting counties and you're up there to the 6 or 7 lightweight supers just right here in our area. Light limited, same way. I bet we've got 9 of those in connecting counties. So I try to pick classes that we are going to have local pullers in, because once again, guys, that's what's bringing people. Let's go down here and watch Mark Ford run tonight, or Gary Weedy, Nathan Brown. Let's go watch them in the limited pro class, whatever it might be. That's what's going to bring a lot of your local puller or people there, is to see the local pullers. And then the 5th class, I like to rotate it a little bit, so every year you see something different. We tried the 5.0 Pro Stocks last year. We might try mini rods this year. We tried to bring in some 2-engine modified tractors this past year to put in a little bit extra on the show. Just put something else in there. So
I saw every phone in the place go up when those things went down the track. Last year. So,
but in Tennessee, the only place that you'll see modified tractors is Chapel Hill once a year. So once again, by bringing in 3 or 4 of those 2-engine mods, it was just something different for the people in our area to see.
Good deal. How do you pick your date, Wes? And you talk about it a little bit. That's the toughest part, I think, being an association, is keeping every promoter happy and then spreading out, because there's certain classes that every promoter wants, but you're going to burn out those promoters or those classes. And there's other classes that aren't as requested, but you still want to give them as many hooks as you can. That's hard, but that's a different podcast. How do you pick your date?
My date, we're always right there, usually the week after the Enderley. Once again, that way we can get some of those Grand National guys to be able to come, or by that time the Champion Tour is done. It used to, you had Wheatland, Missouri that was around the same time, so a lot of your PPL guys was done after that week. So and we've got a lot of pullers just right here in the connecting counties that does run Champion Tour or Grand National. So we go with that week. I would love to have a 2-day show here at Woodbury, but Friday night down here in the South, high school football is king. And it's just one of those things that I feel like if I tried to do a Friday night show, I don't know if I would get the crowd that I need to have a successful event on the Friday night. So we try to do it one Saturday night a year and try to, have a really great show for everybody.
And you pack the place. Absolutely. And then admission prices. How do you guys figure that out, Wes?
We've been the same all 5 years. Every year I get a lot of people telling me, "Hey man, you need to go to $20." We've always been $15 for adults, $5 for kids. Once again, we do give away a lot of kid tickets. I'm getting pressured to go to $20 next year. Do I think that we have a good enough a show for a $20 ticket? We're a single track. We do have some really good classes there, and I do think that we could get that $20. But I wonder, just like you said earlier, I want to make it where people can come, they can bring their whole family, and then once you get them in the gate, they're going to go buy a hamburger or a T-shirt or something. Even if they've got money, maybe we'll get it somewhere else once they get in the gate. So
I like it. Kevin, how do you pick your classes, Kevin?
Well, we start out with the fair board, and we asked our board what they like, but then also we listen to our crowd. To me, the people that are sitting in your grandstand, they deserve to have their voice heard too. So we listen to our crowd and listen to them what they like.
How are you gauging that, Kevin? Are you handing out surveys?
Nope. It's just when they come up to us or we stop them and visit with them and just ask them, what would you like to see different? Do you like to see this or that? So that's kind of how we gauge it, and they'll stop by the fair office and tell us, or, they'll just stop some of us running around and say, hey, we'd like to see this class. And I made some changes last year because they wanted some different stuff. So to me, you got to work with the public to get them butts in the seat, because they're the ones that are helping pay to put this show on. So if you don't listen to them, they're not going to show up. So, and our biggest attraction, I would say, is the semi class. Them people stand up and cheer for them semis when they're going down the track. And we leave that right to the end. And then, whatever, we had 4 last year. But them people just love that. And then on price,
real quick, Kevin, but his end is at 9:30 or 10. I really want to stress that to people. If you book too much, and Billy Beers, everybody knows Billy Beers in the War Wagon, the Unlimited, he chewed ass last year at the banquet at the NTPA competition thing. We're the biggest and the baddest in the country. We're making 15,000 horsepower. We run at midnight every freaking night. And you guys, there is a prime time, and to Kevin's point, I know why he runs the semis late, but let's be honest, there are promoters that and Wes, I know Wes will agree with this. You just start with the smallest class, you just keep adding weight until you get to the biggest class. Now it's 2 a.m. And
when you go back to pricing,
still thinking like that, please don't. God bless you. And those people, and they'll stay. Yeah. I think my internet's shitty tonight. I'm sorry, guys. But pick your date. Okay, and then I know how you pick your date because of the fair. You don't have a choice.
No, we have.
The carnival tells you when you're having your tractor pull.
Pretty much. But pricing.
Admission prices. Yeah.
But then on your pricing.
Some fairs, Kevin, it's like $1 to get in the gate, and then you pay to park. And then,
right.
I see too many fairs, nickel and diamond, like especially state fairs. Oh my God, they make it expensive. So we'll actually sell these passes. So you can buy a pass in April. We put it on April 1st, and we run till the end of May for $50, and that'll get you into all 4 days of the county fair for $50. So, and then 13 and under are free. And then, but anybody that doesn't have a season pass, they got to pay $20 at the gate to get in. But otherwise, you're going to a county fair. If you bought that season pass in April or May, you're getting in for $50. And then at the end of May, we go up $5. And then up to July, then we'll be $60 when our fair starts. But really, when you're going to a county fair for 4 days and you're going to a outlaw tractor pull, you're going to a concert, we have a bull riding and a wrecking derby, all 4 things there. And then that gets you into the fairgrounds, and you're good to go anywhere. I like it. I like it. All right, I'm going to ask one more question, Logan. Then I'm going to finally let you talk. I apologize, Logan. I've been hogging it. I've been hogging it today. Mike and Amanda, when you look at your crowd, this is a Jason Schultz goofy question, but is it a person that comes to one pull a year because they like Mike and Amanda, or are you seeing traveling fans? And then, like, when you guys go around to other pulls, do you think the fans are going to one pull a year, they're going to that one that they're at? Or do you think there are fans that really go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pulls a year? So that's kind of a loaded question, Mike and Amanda, but I'm sorry, you guys are pretty sharp. So
I see both.
Yeah, I think it's a mix for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I see people like, I'd say the next biggest pool to us, besides the fair pools, would be Bunker Hill, New Centerville, and then after that, you're traveling east into Joey or west into OSTPA, and I see travel and pull spectators, but then I also see the ones that are do hit your local county fair pools that make a point to come to our place.
Gotcha. I like it. Jason, what about you, bud? Do you see people that kind of travel, or is this I go to Addison and that's it? I don't do anything else. I don't get any other pulls.
No, I think we don't have any big populated areas really around us, but there's a Washington County Fair down in Greenwich, New York is probably the biggest one around, and that's only an hour and a half from here, and and down in that area there's like 5 or 6 pulls within an hour. So a lot of those same people I think come up to our event, but there's certainly a core group that probably only come to just our event and the county fair that's there 2 months earlier.
Nice.
But,
I like it. Wesley.
I'm gonna probably say that 2/3 of them are, to me, I think are probably your local people that are only going to go to 1 or 2 events a year. You might see another third of them that are traveling a lot, but right here where we're at, I would say that within an hour times, 50, 60 miles around our event here, there's another 6 or 7 events throughout the season. So, I mean, you'll see a few here and a few there that are, I guess, like you said, avid tractor pullers going every weekend. But I would say probably 2/3 of them, I think, for our event are there just for that one event. So
Nice. Kev, what about you? What are your thoughts? I mean, you travel around a lot of the outlaw events.
I would say ours are probably half of them are just local people that come, but the other half are people that follow it. I mean, that's just what we see in our stands. Maybe I'm off a little bit, but I would say half of them are just locals, and the other half are the half that are locals are the ones that always come to your county fair. And like you guys all said, they just come for that event, and they had their season pass to come to the county fair, and that's what they do.
Got it. And then I'm gonna let Logan ask a couple questions, guys. But if there's if there's anything that's best practices, really what tonight's all about is I want you to share, with other promoters, with pullers, what makes your event great and why you think people come to it. So if I missed anything or didn't ask any questions, please let me know. This is the most organized I've ever been on a podcast. I actually had some printed out questions, so I'm kind of proud of myself. But I guess, any kind of open it up here. I don't want to keep you guys much longer, maybe another 10 minutes. I want to wrap it up. But, Logan, do you have any thoughts, questions? Mike, Manda, Wes, Jason, Kevin, did we miss anything? Let's just fire away. Logan, you go first, though, because you've been quiet.
I was thinking about this with some of how the live streaming has developed over the past couple of years. For those who have had events that have been running for the past 10 years, how have the live streams kind of affected the crowd turnout, or have they really kind of helped your event? I know this was Wesley's first year with full pull down there. Let's just start there. How did all that turn out with you?
It was our second year. We had Full Pool Live with us last year also. Um, I I know that there's probably some local people that might say, let's just stay home and have our beverages at the house or whatever it might be. Uh, since it is a school function, there is alcohol there, but it's just not broadcasted everywhere around there. So you might lose a few here and there and watch the Full Pool Live that way. Or you take last year, the weather wasn't the best, so we had a few that probably didn't come for that. But from my personal perspective, what I liked about the live stream is you've got people from everywhere, other pullers that maybe they watch it and they're like, you know what, next year I believe I'm going to go down there. That looks like a well-run event or whatever it might be. And maybe we might catch somebody that way that, another puller or another spectator that's somewhere around that's like, let's go down there next year. So it might not pay off every year, but I think what you gain from it will also, it might hurt you here and there, but I don't see a huge difference between the 5 years there with the live stream or without it. So
Mike and Amanda, what have you guys observed from events around the country and even your own stuff with the new coming of this live streaming?
Well, I know as pullers, we have actually watched a pull while we're at a pull. We'll take the TV and take it out of the trailer and sit and watch another pull while we're pulling. So we have done that. And I pulled in Georgia, Diesels and Dark Corners this year for the first time. Obviously, my kiddos couldn't be there. It was too far. They're in school, all of the things.
It's 1 in the morning.
It was 1 in the morning, right? Yeah. But you know what? My kids were watching from home and I knew that. So like if the camera's in my window, I'm like engaging because I knew my kids were sitting at home watching, or they could go back and watch it over again. So for me, it's really cool. I know that there are some people that are not 100% for it, but for us, we were 100% for it. And I was so grateful that my kids could actually get on and watch. And it was literally like they were in the seat with me, like that, because the camera was right there. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I think that it did it like you guys said. I think it might grab some people. Like Wesley said, hey, that Weeklands, I might travel and bring my camper and stay for the weekend. That looked like a kick-ass show, maybe that'll be it. Like Mandy was saying, with people not liking it, locking it down, not locking it down. There's different ways that you can skin a cat and talk about it. NASCAR has a camera in your driver's seat from the time you push the start button until you get out of that car. People want to know what's going on in that vehicle. Is it a little bit of a hassle? Maybe. But when I put that helmet on, I'm worried about what I'm doing. I'm not worried about that camera. And when I watch some of the videos of her, when that camera's in with her, when she's coming out, watching the smoke come out of the stack with that camera on the stack, I think that's pretty cool. And the kids get to see it, and I can pick on her how she's driving coming out of the hole.
We're sorry, Amanda. We're sorry.
That's okay. Typically, I know it before he ever even says anything. So.
Yeah. Very, very true. Very, very true.
Jason, what's your thoughts with it out towards your way?
When I hear that it's going to hurt my crowd, I giggle a little bit. There is nobody in their right mind that could, if they could go to the poll, wouldn't go to a poll, because nothing beats a live event. The smoke, the noise, your friends, the adult beverages, whether you have an adult beverage or not. I tend to have an adult beverage from time to time, and I enjoy that. To Wesley's point, the second year that we've been to an event, it's been better because then people, they have seen Woodbury, they have seen the Weeklands, and they're more willing to maybe possibly go pull there or things like that. But we've seen, like with the NTPA Grand Nationals, and you can talk to any promoter, the spotlight that we're bringing with Full Pool Live, because we're not just coming and live streaming your event, guys, and standing at the end of the track. We're promoting it 30 days out ahead of time. You're coming on podcasts. We're promoting it. We're spending money on Facebook and Google. we're going to promote our live stream, but it's also promoting your event as well. So I love what we're doing, but I hear it every day. Oh, nobody's going to come to my poll and they could stay home. And that's just the farthest from the truth. PK is our executive producer. Mike and Amanda know him. And he came to the Mid-South Banquet West. NASCAR, he's worked for NASCAR. He's got some stats. Like it's such a small percentage of people that could stay home. It's the same guy that tries to sneak in with the kids ticket to Wesley's point. You know what I mean? If you can go to a poll, you're going to go to a poll. So, but yeah, I don't think the live stream, I think it's only helping it. I think it's getting more eyeballs on it so we can get more sponsors and ultimately help more promoters and take Grand National Pro Stops up to Addison, Vermont, and they wouldn't know what to do if they rolled in there. So
how about the other Jason?
Oh, that wasn't for me, Logan?
We haven't done live streaming yet, but we've talked about it a lot. I know personally, I think it's great. There's been a number of years I've gone to like Pike, New York for an ESP event, and it's the same weekend as Bowling Green. So we're live streaming Bowling Green the whole weekend from there. I think it's great. And I'm with you all. I think that you're only the number of people you're losing is such a small percentage. I think what you're gaining from the folks that can't come, that would like to come, and maybe people from across the country that have heard about your event that want to watch it. I mean, I think the good far outweighs the negativity of it.
What are your dates on your event, Jason?
Well, we're talking about stretching it to 3 days. It's going to be September 17 through 19.
Okay.
Kevin, have you noticed anything over the past couple of years with the new age of technology?
No, I mean, last year we had 5,400 people. No, we haven't lost anything. You like all you guys have said, there's always been some scuttle talk about it that they've lost people. Honestly, I feel we haven't. I mean, grandstand's full. We're happy. To me, that's what really moves it along. For instance, like Jason knows the Ott family. Bodie's mom and dad are in their 80s, and they'll go to all the local polls, but then later on, then they just stay home and watch it. So for all the older people that their family is pulling, I think it's an ideal thing, and like now with full poll where you can sit at home and you can watch whatever. I mean, when there's not an outlaw hook, you can watch an NTPA or a PPL, which is nice. You're paying one price for everything.
Well, there you go. All the other promoters out there, that's 4 different accounts plus Jason's on why live streaming will not hurt your event.
I'm a little biased because but
I will say this too: if you have live streamed your event, go back and watch your event. So while you're promoting the event, you don't always see things going on, but then if you go back and watch the live stream event, maybe you might see something like, why did we do that? Or what was taking so long here, or something like that, to help kind of, no different than a sports team going back and watching game film on how to improve the next week. So I do that every year, go back and rewatch the entire live stream and like, what was taking, why did we spend 10 minutes here? Why wasn't we getting something else down the track, or whatever it might be? So you'll catch little things here and there that might help your show improve for the next year also.
I think another good thing is making sure you got a good photographer there that knows your tractor pull, because Jason knows our deal last year. Neither one of the guys could make it, so I had our gal that does our picturing at the fair, and she done all right. But the guys that know what they're doing, they draw the right pictures of a pickup that's going down doing a great job, or a pro stock. Them pictures, then you can pick them out and put them up on your posters, and that's what sells it. When you're getting pictures of a nice tractor or a pickup or a semi going down that track, and that photographer catches it, and people see that, oh my God, they were at the Wayne County Fair, I want to go there next year. So to me, that's another good way of promoting your fairs, with a great photographer.
Well said.
Well,
I'll say two things that I know that we try our hardest, say 3, like Wesley was saying, to try and improve it. And that is hospitality. Like you said, me and Amanda make it a very valid point, usually on Saturday mid-afternoon, to get in a golf cart and hit every puller's. We try to hit every puller's trailer, thank them, just a quick thank you, hope you can make it by. The pit area, my dad is hands down, he wants it mowed, he wants it clean, he wants it to be like your yard. As pullers, we like that, we enjoy that, and we try and make it flat and easy to get in and out. We've been to so many fairs and that it's tight getting in and out, and we're not pulling a pickup and a trailer anymore. You know, we're running 60-foot vehicles with a 53-foot trailer, but we're over 100 and some feet long. So we did make it a lot better again this year for more area. So those are the kind of things we try and thrive on.
I like that. I like this casual kind of shooting here at the end like this. Who are some promoters that you've learned a lot from, or that you really respect? And this is for all of you. I know, Kevin, you don't pull, but when you go, or even if you go as a fan, who are some other promoters? I'm going back to that event, or I love what they do, or just people that you really dig it. Whoever wants to go first.
I don't know. I feel, for one thing, me just being a promoter, so it's like us, so you got the Rock Valley by us, but then even if you go to another pull around, there might be at a little regional pull, there might be something that you'll pick up out of that could help your bigger show more than anything, and it's just little things. You don't have to go to the top-notch show to, you don't have to go to a Bowling Green or whatever. You can go to these small shows and still draw something out of there that might help your event somewhere along the line.
The beginning of this year, we bounced around. We made up our mind. We weren't committing to anything. We were just going to go run. We hit some bluegrass. We hit some of the Carolina pullers. When you rolled into some of them, I mean, they weren't the biggest pull, but when you rolled in there, same way. They were nice to you. They talked to you. What do you need? Do you need anything? We bounced around a couple different ones this year, and we had a good time doing that.
No, it's fun to go to new venues. It really is, because you meet new fans and they haven't seen your vehicle before or something like that. It's enjoyable. I like it. Jason, are there any other venues that you really enjoy going to in the past when you were out running around the country more? Or what's some local ones in your area that do a good job besides you? I know you mentioned Greenwich.
Yeah, Greenwich does a good job.
Isn't that the 1066 capital of the world up there?
Yeah, they come out of the woodwork. There's a lot of pullers that just come just for that event only of the year. Well, it doesn't matter if it's the Hot Farm on Friday night or the sanctioned group on Saturday. They get a very good crowd. But one thing that I think that I learned a lot from was COVID year, when there wasn't much pulling going on. We traveled a lot down into Pennsylvania, all over the place down there, because I think a lot of it was with full pull when Rick was still running it. He was having events. And we learned a lot of new stuff and met a lot of different people, saw how things were getting done. But one of the big things that I keep going back to is you need to make sure your event is entertaining. I'm with everybody that, most fans are just going to sit there. They're only going to sit in their butt for so long, 2.5, 3 hours probably. They're going to get up and go do something. And, do I want the pullers to show, or the crowd to start coming to watch the garden tractor Saturday morning and still be there at 8:00 at night? Sure, I do. But I also understand, let them go home for a few hours and come back. That ticket's still good for them for at night as well. And the reason we run 3 tracks on a Saturday morning with garden tractors and antiques, and 2 the rest of the time, 2 scrapers, 2 rollers, making sure you're keeping everything moving. I'm a real stickler for the show moving. If I don't have a tractor going down one track like every 3 minutes, that's a problem. It's keep it moving.
No, that's good. That's good. Anything else we missed tonight? Any best practices? If anybody has any questions, Mike, Amanda, Wes, Jason, Kevin, do you think have we spilled our guts? Did you You tell us everything you know about promoting polls, Amanda?
I think so.
I think so.
We're still learning.
Yeah, I have a lot to learn from
We're
these
still
guys
learning.
for sure.
I would say one thing, like when we were in Margaritaville last weekend, Jason, when Chase was there, we'd stand there. I went to the restroom and I come back and I was visiting with Chase, and Chase didn't understand this organics thing. So I explained it to him. He says he'd never really heard that explained to him because he didn't know, because the Outlaws are tied in with a lot of farmers and everything. So he was really interested how he couldn't figure out how these pullers were getting paid back from organics. So, on the other side of it, so they got a check from Outlaw, but then if they placed in the organic sweep, they got a check for that too. And Chase said, man, I had just never heard of anything like that. That was very interesting.
No, it's pretty neat. That's the only place I've seen anything like that, Kevin. I've seen some contingency money come back at the end of the year, but not at those dollar amounts that I saw get handed out at the Outlaw banquet. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
Mid-South is on the halogenics stuff too. So they're a big sponsor, and each promoter, if they want to host I guess
a go-grow.
A group meeting or whatnot, then they get a percentage of it, and then Mid-South gets a percentage of it back also. So
right now we get $1 per acre back that gets sold in Wayne County. So it does help us. I mean, we get $12,000 to $15,000 back as our county fair. So I mean, that just helps you go towards your what you're paying out for the whole pool.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys knew about the buy-in we did at our place. That was a pretty big hit this year. The pool, we still did our regular payout. Everybody got the regular payout, but then the pullers had an option to buy in. They didn't have to buy in, but they had an option to buy in. I think super stocks were 1,000, light pro 800, and everybody could buy in. And there was some scuttlebutt. Oh, you're pulling for your own money. Well, there again, we're pulling for our own money every weekend, but it was a big hit. I mean, I think first place took almost $8,000 home for the night, for the weekend. And the super stock guys. So I think we're going to try that again this year, but we didn't make it mandatory. Somebody might drive 15 hours and don't have another $1,000 to throw into it, So we made it as an option. That was a big hit this year at our October Fool. Yeah,
I think I saw a little bit of that on social. That was neat that you did that. I don't want to get into where we have to pay $1,000 every weekend, but I think it's special, Mike, where you do some different events like this and do that. I think it's fun. And I think especially with an event like yours at the end of the year, it's kind of we're done after this, and your events that time of the year. I guess Diesels and Dark Corners is for diesel trucks, but you know what I'm trying to say, where there's only a couple pulls left and guys aren't running for points anymore.
Oh, so. Trust me, there were some guys after Friday night that said, well, we'll see what we'll do tonight. So you know what that meant.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, this has been fun. We're going to do these every Monday night. Kevin, Jason, Wes, Mike, and Amanda, I got some names for next week, but who would be some other, and think of your area, obviously, because I want to keep this. We got Kevin's in Nebraska, Jason's in Vermont, Wes is in Tennessee, and Mike and Amanda are in Pennsylvania. Logan's in Kansas. I'm in Wisconsin. So we want to keep it spread out like this because, no offense, you're not going to learn anything if you just talk to a bunch of Badger State promoters that live in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? They do the same thing. So who would be some other good people to have on here? So
I can get you the guys from Bunker Hill. They actually reached out to me tonight before we had our meeting about some stuff and that. So it's nice to work with guys in the area. So I'll get you some numbers there.
Yeah, text me that. Next week I got for sure. Let me see here. We have for sure Dustin Wooten from McAuliffe, Kansas. Logan's going to get him lined up. But I think, is this nice having four of you on here like this? Is this a nice number?
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't wear you out. You didn't sit there too long and had to stare at your screen, did you?
No, Logan didn't talk much. So
yeah. I didn't let Logan.
You didn't let Logan talk.
No. Well, some nights I mute myself, and then some nights I don't. But no, Logan's my co-host. I was really excited about this, and we kind of run with our own ideas. When it's Logan's guest or Logan's idea, Logan runs it. But I was sitting in church yesterday.
I talked a lot last week.
Good. I was sitting in church yesterday. I was sitting in church praying for Kevin Davis after drinking with him Friday night at the Outlaw banquet, and I said, I want to have a promoter thing, because I feel like pullers are there. Promoters need to learn more and do more, and then they want to have bigger events, and they want to have the ability to bring in some bigger classes. And I like what Jason's doing up there. I used to do that in Richland Center. We'd start with garden tractors during the day, and it worked like some state level mini rods, and then we'd have our big show at night. And yeah, we never got the big crowd until night, but those
morning pullers would stick around all day, and they would hoop it up Saturday night every year. So it's a lot of fun. So
that's awesome. I've had a blast tonight. It was really good conversation. So
who has their Christmas tree up already? Kevin, Wes. Okay, 2 for 4. Yeah,
what about you, Jason? You got yours up?
No, my wife, but our Christmas tree's picked out. She goes to the Christmas tree farm and she like picks it out in September, and then she comes back. But she's like December 14th because she wants it to be fresh and green. So, and I don't get in the way. I just say yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, Logan, this was fun. I really. Wesley, what did you learn tonight? Let's do that real quick. Wes, what did you learn tonight? Listen to these other awesome promoters like yourself.
I'm going to agree with like Kevin said. It doesn't matter if it's a Grand National pool or a brush pool there. Everywhere you go, you can learn something different. I know I'm 36 years old right now, and I've been going all my life, but I still, every weekend, whenever I go somewhere, I see something and I'm like, all right, I got to make sure that doesn't happen. Is something as easy as making sure that there's a tow tractor on the end of the track. So if somebody breaks out there, to get them off the track instead of, hey, go get Joe out there to get the gator, and then they can't find the tow rope, and then it turns into a 15-minute ordeal trying to get one vehicle off the end of the track, which I think that was myself at my own pool this year. But once again, it's one of those things that it's the little things that you see, and no matter where you go, you can learn something every weekend. So,
well, you know that you're all ruined. You'll not one person on this screen right now will ever be able to go to a pool the rest of their life and just enjoy it, because you're always like, oh, I would do this and I like that. We're ruined. Just own it, accept it, and do your job. So, Jason, did you learn anything tonight?
Yeah, I liked. I think it was Wesley's idea of the free tickets for the school kids. I thought that's great. What did you say? Pre-K through 3rd grade or something? Is that what you?
We do pre-K through 3rd grade, but the real secret is I think 6 and under is free. So pre-K, kindergarten, and 1st grade, they're going to be free anyways, but they bring that ticket home and then they're like, "Look, Mama, I got a free ticket to the tractor pull," which they would have been getting them free anyways, but it's like, just a
why
different
do we eat at McDonald's? Why do we eat at McDonald's?
So,
because of our kids.
So really the real key to it is you're really only giving away 3rd grade and 2nd grade, depending on where your age is on your ticket. So
good deal. Kevin, did you learn anything tonight?
Oh, you always learn something. I mean, that's why you have these things, because even though, you always pick up on some stuff every time we do it. So just like when I was living in Arizona, Jason, when you and I had that interview, I went to the drag races and we were talking about pricing of this, and everybody can all say the same thing. When you wanted to pay $20, it's probably a $50 ticket, because when we went to the drag races, it was $75 in the bad seats and $150 to go to the good seats in the drag races. Well, if you asked anybody coming to a tractor pull to pay that, they'd look at you and just say, like, screw that.
Yep. 100%. Mike, Amanda, I'm going to let you guys all go, but what are some takeaways from you guys tonight?
Definitely the free kid tickets. That was a great idea. And the yard signs kind of being like peer pressure for sponsors. We've never done anything like that. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you want to make people support your local events like that. These are good ideas. And sometimes none of us are professional promoters besides Kevin Davis. He's retired now, and he's a big fair. He has a special golf cart. It's an 8-seater he gets to roll around with at the fairgrounds. But seriously, we're busy running our businesses day to day, and we'd be better promoters if we could devote our entire life to it. But that's just not there. So it's good to share ideas like this and make it better. So
it is
awesome.
It's very good.
Cool. Well, Kevin, Jason, Wes, Mike, and Amanda, thank you.
You guys all hang out. I'm going to play our exit video, and I want to talk to you guys off air for just a second. So thanks for watching. Randy Fishbaugh is under the weather tonight. He ate too much turkey. Logan Stevens, I promise I'll let you talk next week. I'm Jason Schultz. Have a good night, everybody. Push the
Today. Well, let's talk about today.
And grand national state level, you have to run non-sales, wholesale.
Is like 9,000.
The only mistake I made, I didn't put her in the registration.
Just this ever-evolving story.